When you talk about bumping a player, it's pretty much
great courage. One that says the bump is dead. That's how you deliver it.
What is going on, YouTube universe? My name is Trent and welcome to the Hip and Shoulder, where we drop nothing but AFL related content. And today it's time to get those footy tips in. We're going to lament on round 7, look at the Hip and Shoulder tipping competition and see where people are situated, and then get our tips in for round 8, which by the time this video drops, I'm getting my tips in ahead of round 8, but it's going to drop after the first match of the round, so bear with me. I've been really fucking sick this week. I attended a very special event on the weekend, and a bulk of the people that went have all fallen ill, and I think I might be one of them. Fuck. At any rate, I tipped 6 out of 9 for the round. For whatever reason, I thought I had 7 out of 9, so I'm a little bit disappointed to see that I got one additional round wrong. And then when I looked at the list, I realised straight away where I fucked up. First and foremost, we went with Richmond. We tipped them by 15 points. They lost to Melbourne by 43. Very heartbreaking. Probably more heartbreaking that Jacob Hopper goes and does a hamstring, and then it was announced today that Camden McIntosh and Jack Graham have both done hamstrings as well. It just keeps getting worse and worse for my boys. But something's got to give. I seriously don't know what's going on. I think we might have to look at our conditioning coach. I believe it's somebody new, and no coincidence that all these soft tissue injuries have gone down this year. So maybe having to look internally a little bit. The Anzac Day clash between Essendon and Collingwood went down to the wire and finished in a draw. Epic game. Best game of the round. Best game of the year. And if you tipped either side, you're going to get the win. Tipped GWS to beat Brisbane Lions, and they did so convincingly. Tipped Port Adelaide to defeat St Kilda and fell over the line. And I think 15 additional free kicks may have helped. We tipped North Melbourne. Being in Tasmania, the kind of up and down roller coaster form that Adelaide have been in, I really thought North Melbourne could have had a red hot crack here. I may very well never tip North Melbourne again. I tipped Carlton to defeat Geelong, even though I was convinced that I had tipped Geelong. But got it wrong. Geelong remain undefeated, 7-0. And then to finish the round off, we have a very clean finish. We have Fremantle, Gold Coast, and Sydney, respectively. Turning attention to the competition, however, I may have tipped 6 out of 9. There were 4 that tipped a perfect round this week. So congratulations must go to Freo 90, Dusty Fendoff 4, Gramercy Riffs 78, and Ligma Balls, Trent.
got it!
He's going to change his name every week, this bastard. But congratulations must go to you guys for tipping a perfect round. And I believe in doing so, that perfect round very well has both Ligma Balls, Trent, and Matt Lamb 24 tied for first place. Matt Lamb has been a winner of the competition in the past, back when I hosted it on my gaming channel. And Damien obviously being a very close friend of mine away from the cameras. So again, congratulations to the both of you for holding down the competition on top of the ladder to end round 7. Now that we have those formalities out of the way, we can look ahead to round 8. There was a multi-slip submitted to myself for the Port Adelaide game. Unfortunately, as I have said, due to some unforeseeable illness and me being a sick boy, I haven't been able to get this out in time, so I do apologise for that. There will be another slip later in the video if you guys want to get on board with those multis that have been coming out, and I know some of you guys have been enjoying that and have even been posting your own kind of multis and bettings in the comments down below. So again, not something you have to do. Make sure you gamble responsibly. You know, we don't need to touch on this. I think you all pretty clever at home. But this round is Rival City. We are kicking off, I want to say tonight, because I am going to drop this on Thursday night at some point in time. But we've got the showdown, Adelaide versus Port Adelaide. I'm going to go... I'm thinking Port Adelaide are going to win this one in a close contest. I'm going to go 15 points the way of Port. I have been wrestling with this decision in my head because something tells me Adelaide could live up to the occasion and really stand tall. But I'm really liking Port Adelaide here. Friday night, MCG, Carlton, Collingwood, very well, I think, may be the game of the round, and I'm going with Carlton. I loved how they played against Geelong. Collingwood obviously played a cracking game against Essendon, but I feel with no Jordan De Goey and no Tom Mitchell, it kind of opens up Collingwood's midfield core a little bit, and with players like Cripps and Walsh playing out of their skins this year, I think Carlton can get on top of the midfield game, and then it's just up to Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow to absolutely rip Collingwood's defensive structures apart. Saturday afternoon, Battle of the Bridge, Sydney GWS. Another game I've been arm wrestling with. Another game that could very well be game of the round. I'm going to go with Sydney, and I think it's going to be incredibly close. I think it's going to be within a couple of kicks. I'm going to say anywhere between 10 to 15 point finish. It's going to be incredibly close. Two teams that I've been touting all year as the best teams in the comp with the systems that they are running, and I can't wait to watch this game as a neutral supporter. Marvel Stadium, Saturday afternoon, St Kilda versus North Melbourne. St Kilda easily here. North Melbourne probably looming for an upset, but I can't trust North Melbourne. I can't tip North Melbourne after having faith in them last week and them doing me dirty. Looking ahead to later that night at the MCG, we have Melbourne taking on Geelong, and I think Geelong go 8-0. Melbourne was slow to start last week against Richmond. If they do that against a team like Geelong, they're going to be chasing tail all game. And Saturday rounds out at Optus Stadium with West Coast taking on Essendon. Hard to back against Essendon with the way that they have been applying their pressure. The highest rated pressure team in the comp this year, I believe. West Coast, however, coming off of the last game, a 2-1. Back at home, could find some self-confidence and maybe knock Essendon off. I wouldn't write them off entirely. At the MCG, Richmond are taking on Fremantle on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to tip Richmond here. Something's got to give. I'm hoping that if I tip Richmond enough, I will win. Fremantle are going to win this one, though. I'll probably change my tip later on, but something tells me Richmond have a win in them with the young kids that we've got. Fremantle on the road at the MCG, very winnable game, despite our injuries. I'm very interested to see how this game plays out. Marvel Stadium, Bulldogs taking on Hawthorn. I think it's all but a formality. The Bulldogs should beat Hawthorn quite convincingly in this game. And then at the Gabba, we have a Brisbane Lions team that I don't think have won at the Gabba this year yet. They're 0-3, I believe. And the Gold Coast recapturing some form last week. Very interesting game. And again, the Q Clash, another rival game. I am going to tip Brisbane. Would not be surprised if the Gold Coast rock up and do a little bit of damage here. Very, very interesting. So just to touch, I'm going to go with Port Adelaide, Carlton, Sydney, St Kilda, Geelong, Essendon, Richmond, Bulldogs, and Brisbane. I am still in the gauntlet because last week I tipped Port Adelaide to win. We cannot tip Port Adelaide again for the remainder of the gauntlet. I think this week we go St Kilda against North Melbourne. I think at this rate, you pick the teams that are going to be playing either Richmond or North Melbourne. I'm more convinced of St Kilda beating North than I am of Fremantle beating Richmond, only because of the MCG and, you know, some upsets loom. So I'm hoping St Kilda can keep me alive in the gauntlet this week. Before we wrap things up, there is one multi, as I said, for you to get your hands on. And again, thank you to Damien for generating these tips for us each and every week. This is a 13-leg same-game multi coming for the West Coast Essendon game. We have Harrison Jones and Jack Darling to kick a goal anytime, Jake Stringer and Peter Wright, as well as Jamie Cripps, to kick 2+ goals, 20+ disposals to be returned from Liam Duggan, Jai Caldwell and Dyson Heppel, with Zach Merritt, Nick Martin and Elliot Yeo to return 25+ disposals, and Jake Waterman and Kyle Langford to both kick 3+ goals each. That is going to net you $126 return. Don't forget though, as I said, chances are you're about to lose, so make sure you gamble responsibly. You don't blow your wallet. You know, you can blow other things around here, don't get me wrong, but your cash is one of them, okay? So make sure if you do you know, take these multis on board, or you do your own betting or gambling over the weekend, just use your smarts, use your brains, do it responsibly. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.